Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Russell with As Far As I Can Tell, and I am here doing the first live stream from Michigan, and we are hoping that it's going to work just fine. I do believe it will, and it appears to be doing so. If anyone else is in here, let me know, and we will chit-chat, but if not, I'm just going to start playing a tune. This is a song by a gentleman. His name is Todd Snyder, and he is by far one of my favorite songwriters. It's called Too Soon to Tell. I'm just learning it, so it might not be perfect. Low gray clouds rolling over my head. I'm walking up a hill to get my fortune read. I could still take rejection, but it does get harder to do. Wish I could show you how you've hurt me in a way that wouldn't hurt you too. Tennis shoes hanging from a telephone wire. I got a little money, I could probably get higher. I was alright a while, but you know how all that goes. Everything in moderation, including moderation, I suppose. Never did like the people where I was employed. They was always out to get me cause I'm paranoid. Now I'm working for myself, and that don't pay a lousy dime. If what we're here to do is learn to forgive, I'm gonna need more time. Too soon to tell. Too soon to tell. Too soon to tell. By and by. Yes, it's too soon to tell what's going to happen to you when you die. It's too soon to tell what will ever avenge. They say that living well is the best revenge. I say bullshit. The best revenge is revenge. This isn't over. We're gonna meet again. Good Lord, if you're still up there, you sure got a lot of nerve. Seems like even the wicked, we get worse than we deserve. We're afraid to die, every goddamn one of us. I swear to God, it's like you're making fun of us. Not worth keeping or too good to keep. If there's a better kind of secret, better wait till I'm asleep. And if you're so God Almighty, what's with all this mystery? Yes, I would love to trust you, buddy, but you're clearly keeping secrets from me. Too soon to tell. Too soon to tell. It's too soon to tell. By and by. It's too soon to tell what's gonna happen when you die. At the fortune teller's on the second floor, and bright red letters hanging off of the door, it said closed. I think it might have been some kind of sign. Don't give up on me, baby. I think I could be losing my mind. I've just met too many people that I love all too much. They're scattered all over the country. I could never possibly stay in touch with them. I'm traveling forever, it seems. I woke up one morning with a lot more memories than dreams. I got low gray clouds rolling over my head. I'm walking down the hill without my forge on red. I could still take rejection, but it does get harder to do. Wish I could show you how you've hurt me in a way that wouldn't hurt you too. Wish I could show you how you've hurt me in a way that wouldn't hurt you too. Okay, that was actually all right, considering I had to, I don't know if you guys saw it, I was like doing some mouse shuffling. I didn't have the auto scroll on the chords set to the right speed, but anyhow, I was, sorry I had to try, guys. Fuck it. So, today, we are talking about the Tooth Fairy and other fairy tales, such as the Globe. I don't know about you guys, but as a child, when I was growing up and I had teeth that fell out, my parents would tell me to put the tooth underneath the pillow for the Tooth Fairy. And so I did, and I received money. I put it to you that it is more likely that the Tooth Fairy is honestly giving people's children money for their teeth, sneaking in there in the middle of the night, than that the earth is a spinning ball. I just saw this origin of the Tooth Fairy fairy tale, and I couldn't help but think of this. I don't know if anyone is in here. If you are, say hello, but either way, I'll go with the fairy tale, and we'll do a little bit of screen share for that. Not sure if you can read it, because it's going to be grainy, but we'll see you later. Okay. This is from ancient-origins.net, myths-legends. I'll drop the link in the chat. Okay. And it is titled, Tooth Fairy Tales, The Strange Origins of the Dental Sprite. The Tooth Fairy is rivaled only by Santa Claus in popularity among American children. She is famous for exchanging a few dollars for baby teeth that have fallen out. Belief in the Tooth Fairy has become so common in the U.S. that losing belief in her is considered a rite of passage, showing that a child is growing up. Despite its popularity, little is known of the origins of the Tooth Fairy, and few parallels are found in other cultures. One fact that emerges when the Tooth Fairy's origin is investigated is that the original Tooth Fairy, if there was one, seems to have been of a less innocent nature than the modern dental sprite. So, I'm dropping this in the chat right now. There is enough lag that by the time you get it, it'll be a minute, but anyhow. Precursors in European folklore. There is no direct parallel to the Tooth Fairy in European folklore. In medieval England, it was popular to burn a child's baby teeth. The reason for this was connected to beliefs about the afterlife. An old superstition was that if a child did not dispose of his or her baby teeth properly, the person would wander the afterlife for all of eternity in search of them. Wow. In other parts of Europe, children were encouraged to offer their teeth to animals, usually mice, or to throw them into the air. Some 19th century scholars found this interesting and even went as far as to suggest that this custom was evidence of vestigial paganism in the form of sun worship. Only a few scholars have considered the relevance of this practice to the tooth fairy, however. These examples show how European folklore regarding children's teeth diverges in many ways from American folklore. They sometimes involve just getting rid of the teeth rather than offering them to an entity. Others involve offering the teeth to rather different entities, such as animals instead of a fairy. There are legends in Europe, however, that do more closely resemble the tooth fairy legend. These often involve witches. In some cases, the reason for disposing of the teeth is so that a witch does not find them rather than to make an offering. If a witch found a person's teeth, it was believed that she might be able to gain complete control over that person. There are, however, a few European legends that do resemble the American tooth fairy. One English legend from Lancashire tells of a witch named Jenny Greenteeth. She was a witch that was said to hide in scum-filled ponds and catch unsuspecting children. Parents would use Jenny Greenteeth as a way to frighten children into obedience. Interestingly, there is a dental connection. The pond scum in which the witch hides, duckweed, is said to resemble green teeth. Jenny Greenteeth is also used to encourage children to brush their teeth, possibly so that their teeth do not become as dirty as the teeth of the old witch. A benevolent example is Marantea probably butchered that, in Venice, Italy. Marantea is a Venetian version of the generally Italian Befana, a benevolent old crone who gives children gifts at Christmas like Santa Claus in the U.S. Interestingly, Marantea not only gives children gifts at Christmas, but also when they lose a tooth. Marantea makes for an interesting parallel to the tooth fairy legend, though it is unlikely that Marantea represents a direct precursor. Were tooth fairy rituals used to protect children from harm? The rituals associated with the tooth fairy in the U.S. also bear an eerie resemblance to rituals used to protect children from supernatural kidnappers, such as trolls and fairies. Stories about human children being snatched from their cradles by trolls or fairies and replaced by a shape-shifting troll or fairy baby are common in folklore. There are also parallels to these stories in non-European cultures. Teeth, because of their apparent indestructibility compared to other body parts, have historically been seen as a form of magical protection against evil. They are used in cultures all over the world as protective talismans. Placing a tooth near the bed of a child could be thought of as a way to protect the child from harm or as a sacrifice of sorts to the supernatural creatures that might otherwise take the child. I wonder if that's rooted in authentic experience. I mean, truth is far stranger than fiction, guys. Interestingly, one common variation of the tooth fairy ritual is to sprinkle the tooth with salt and leave it in a glass or on a plate by the child's bed. Salt, because it is used as a preservative, has traditionally been believed to have many of the same protective powers as teeth. It could be said that a tooth sprinkled with salt is an even more powerful protection than the tooth by itself. Another interesting tooth fairy ritual that resembles these customs for warding off evil fairies is placing the tooth under a pillow. There are examples of customs where objects such as knives are placed beneath a pillow as a form of supernatural protection. This can also serve as protection from mundane threats, of course, but iron knives and other iron objects are also used for magical protection as well as in many cultures. This is not to say that American parents who indulge in tooth fairy rituals are secretly protecting their children from malevolent fairies, simply that some of the rituals associated with the tooth fairy legend may date back to a time where such rituals were used to protect children from supernatural harm. Conclusion. Although there are parallels to tooth fairy customs and stories in other cultures, there doesn't appear to be a direct precursor to the tooth fairy in European folklore or generally in world folklore. The tooth fairy is largely an American phenomenon. Nonetheless, there are enough similarities to other legends mentioned in folklore to suggest that the tooth fairy may be at least partially derived from these tales about trolls and witches and the use of teeth as a form of otherworldly protection. Although the tooth fairy currently lacks a clear genealogy or ancestry, she has nonetheless made a great success as one of America's only fairies. Now, if there's anyone in the chat, I personally have not... Hey, how's it going, Jay? Nice, buddy. Did you see the song at the start? That's when it's a really good tune, man. Sometime if you get through the video, just come and check it out sometime. Now, this is why I shared this with you guys. Oh, now it says, oh, it's not receiving enough stream? Really? Oh, it looks pretty bad. But iron knives and other... Okay, no, it's receiving it. Anyways. The reason that I shared this with you guys is to draw a parallel between these types of fairy tales and then the fairy tales that we tell each other and are told as adults regarding things such as a ball earth, you know, Dracos, Pleiadians, aliens, and the parallel I wanted to draw is that with this ancient alien information, what you're getting is people, and they're drawing these parallels. They're saying, this is that. Now, the truth is that this man in this little fake bubble suit nonsense, who is not, that's not a man in there in space. It's not, it just doesn't, it does not physically pan out that we can get to outer space as it is described, and to kind of draw a parallel between this ancient Mesopotamian artifact and then this modern poppycock fakery, like, it's just ludicrous. And it's far more likely that the tooth fairy is real and she is a fairy or some type of witch or benevolent Marantea and not just a children's story, because I can't disprove that. I can't say there is no possible way in all of reality, in physical reality, that I can measure and demonstrate using the scientific method, using deductive and abductive logic. I cannot demonstrate that it's even possible for a rocket to reach escape velocity, or that it's possible for the vacuum of space to exist next to the 1 atmosphere of pressure with that supposed little flimsy layer of whatever it is between them. All of this stuff is hypothetical, just hypothetical, theoretical, if then. Well, you know what, guys? As far as heliocentrism goes, if was a fifth, we'd all be taking shots. If wishes were fishes, we'd all be eating dinner. And if your brother were your sister, then I'd be hitting on her. Are you guys getting video? Is the video cutting out? Because it's on such... The latency is way, way cut down. Oh, okay. I'm still loud and clear. And as far as I can tell, it appears to be loud and clear over here. Described. And it actually looks kind of decent. Draw a parallel between... Good. Now, what I wanted to point out is that when my parents told me that a supernatural being was going to come and take my baby teeth when they fell out from under the pillow and reward me with cash, that sounded sensible to me. There was a big carrot on it, just like there's a big carrot on heliocentrism. Like, if this is the way that the heavenly bodies are, and there's all types of different big solid rocks floating around different stars all throughout the universe, there's a huge carrot there. That means that there's resources, there's things, that knowledge, etc., 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 on these places. Now, do I believe that there's maybe some other beings, like interdimensional beings or beings that are from Earth or somewhere else around here, that have interacted with humans over time? Yes, most likely. Do I believe there's certainly both benevolent and malevolent, spiritual, psychic, autonomous, non-physical entities, and that they may, in fact, be able to take on physical form at certain points? Yes, I do believe that. But I don't believe that they come from Alpha Centauri in a spaceship like David Wilcock or any of these secret space program fucks. Tell me. Nice, Sue. Wonderful. And the thing is, if there was bluebirds in outer space breaking deals with conspiracy theorists from Earth in order to have the Galactic Federation save Earth from all the pedophiles, well, if that was the case, it would have happened by now. Before I came across FE, I was deeply invested in secret space program and in everything Project Camelot ever did. All of the whistleblower testimony, I just took it to heart that this was true. And when I look back on it, I just think, what a freaking idiot I was. However, this is what I want to point out. So, our parents, this is good, heliocentrism. Our parents told us this tooth fairy lie knowingly, and they did it in order to provide us some incentive, kind of soothe us through losing our teeth, and maybe unknowingly carry on some old occult tradition. Now, when your teacher tells you about the heliocentric model, and here's Copernicus's drawing of it. This guy has a quote somewhere where I'll maybe Lee Harvey and we'll tune in and fire it off to me, but Copernicus clearly stated that this is purely for hypothetical, theoretical modeling purposes, and that the terrestrial plane, the FE model, was just as, if not more, likely, and that the model should only be used for hypothetical, theoretical, mathematical equations, basically, and that we could try to observe these things in the night sky, but that we could not substantiate that this is the way things actually work. And as our gear has gotten better, and if we take a step back and actually look at what the Vatican did with heliocentrism and why and when they started pushing forth this idea of a spinning ball Earth and all of these other physical heavenly bodies, you see that it's directly connected. It's just they're trying to kill God, period, end of story. And so, while I'm pretty dang sure that the tooth fairy is not real. Yes, I'm back, Jenny. Here I am. Well, I'm pretty dang sure that the tooth fairy is not real. I am absolutely certain that we do not live on a spinning ball. Anybody have any good fairy experience? Has anyone here ever met a fairy or like had any interaction with the fae? I know some people that are pretty like enlightened, awake, and aware individuals that have pretty good discernment that tell me they have interactions with fae or fairy beings, but they also tell me that they're like kind of mischievous and I guess my friend Regan always says don't break a fairy promise. Like, I guess the world of magic is a very pretty serious thing, and so I don't know if offering teeth to what we think is a imaginary entity while our kids while our children think of this thing as real, this supernatural being that's taking their teeth. I wonder what that does on some type of energetic level, and I'm really not sure. Let's do some more tunes, guys. Okay. So the ones that I'm playing today are just ones that I've been working on. And they may not be perfect yet, but they're good songs and I love them, and I hope you guys will too. She's a rich girl, and she gone too far, 'cause she know it don't matter anyway. You can rely on the old man's money. You can rely on the old man's money. It's a bitch, girl, but it's gone too far, 'cause you know it don't matter anyway. Say money, but it won't get you too far, get you too far. And don't you know that it's wrong, to take what is given you, so far gone on your own. You can get along if you try to be strong, but you'll never be strong. You're a rich girl, and you've gone too far, 'cause you know it don't matter anyway. You can rely on the old man's money. You can rely on the old man's money. It's a bitch, girl, but it's gone too far, 'cause you know it don't matter anyway. Say money, but it won't get you too far, get you too far. High and dry, out of the rain. It's so easy to hurt others when you can't feel pain. Don't you know that a love can't grow? 'Cause there's too much to give, 'cause you'd rather live for the thrill of it all. You're a rich girl, and you gone too far, 'cause you know it don't matter anyway. You can rely on the old man's money. You can rely on the old man's money. It's a bitch, girl, but it's gone too far, 'cause you know it don't matter anyway. Say money, but it won't get you too far. Say money, but it won't get you too far. Say money, but it won't get you too far. Get you too far. And you say you can rely on the old man's money. You can rely on the old man's money. You're a rich girl, a rich girl. Ah, you're a rich, rich girl. Say money, but it won't get you too far. Say money, but it won't get you too far. Say money, but it won't get you too far. Get you too far. Something like that. I have not been playing as much as I usually do, but I mean, for any of y'all that know me, that just means I've been playing like, I don't know, 2 hours a day instead of 4. Let's see how that sounded. Get along if you try to be strong, but you... Nice, nice. There we go. We're having fun now. Okay. So, what do you guys want to talk about? Your first kiss? I'm trying to remember mine now. Oh, I'm not gonna share it. Maybe if you guys start like donating. Yeah. That's like 5-year-old Russell blackmail material right there, so. Let's see what's going on. Oh, wait. You could hear the guitar, I guess, on that one. I didn't have it like all the way turned on, but that's okay. So, let's go check out Godlike Productions and see what in the name of all that is holy is going on in the world. Do you guys know? Say, Mom. Okay. Well. Let us see what's up with one of the biggest conspiracy forums in the world, which is run and owned by people that are obviously co-opted. And I say this for many reasons, but the number one reason being that if you type the word Zionist, and I'm not sure if it's still this way, I stopped actually posting on this forum when I figured this out many years ago, but if you type the word Zionist and then comment, it automatically edits your comment to Israeli. Something is afoot there. I'm not quite sure what it is. Number one post. Anyone else rooting for a collapse and for the world to burn now? Not me. I do, and I kind of understand where this dude's coming from, I imagine. However, I kind of like my life at this point. Just granted, I fuck the tyranny. This is all nonsense. It is completely unsustainable. So I'm preparing for that collapse and for the disarray that would follow. However, I'm not like rooting for it. There is a great deal of people who do not they're not capable of like going without their Prozac or their Wellbutrin or their whatever, you name it, their insulin. And when this collapse happens, and for the world to burn now, as this guy is saying here, there's going to be a great deal of people who have medical issues who have not insulated themselves from this because they trusted the system would go on forever, which it will not. Just as the tooth fairy is not real, and just as, or probably not, I don't know, but just as heliocentrism is false, the idea that the grocery stores will always be open, and the idea that the government has your back, or that the rulers are actually leaders, is also false. These are fairy tales. From Canada, Anonymous Coward, which is the name of anyone who posts anonymously on this forum, says, as more time goes by, the more I'm all for the collapse to begin and for the shit to hit the fan. Everywhere I look and go, I see more and more people getting dumber, more woke-tarded, more lib-tarded, more whiny, just a general pussification and spineless. I imagine he means spinelessness. All of their beliefs and actions are becoming more illogical, more weak, more self-destructive, and just plain cringeworthy to the point their brain must have checked out. I used to wish and pray a collapse and SHTF wouldn't happen, but now as more time goes by and I see all the idiocy everywhere, I'm finding myself saying and thinking, fuck it, let the shit collapse and burn. Bring it. These stupid motherfuckers won't last long if and when that happens. And after seeing some friends and people I know say some totally stupid shit on social media today, I find myself actually now rooting for a collapse and SHTF. Well, I imagine that homeboy here doesn't have, like children that have medication that he hasn't stockpiled. And I imagine that if he did, he probably wouldn't be rooting for that. I'm just rooting for myself to personally go be able to sustain myself and work within a small community to barter and trade and live and survive even within Babylon. I would love to see anarchy in terms of no rulers. I would love to see us abandon politics. I would love to see that happen. I just haven't heard anyone offer any ideas that I thought had any chance of working, other than I used to think, oh, the Boogaloo, yeah. And then I realized, no, that's like the worst one. They would love that. That is their territory. They're very good at doing that type of stuff. The movie, Rememberable, the girl, not so much. What about my insulin? I have stockpiled insulin like somebody who thought that the government was run by a bunch of Satanists. And I also don't take that much of it. I try to eat well. I have, I have looked into the future regarding that, and I've insulated myself to where I'm comfortable. Beyond that, I feel like I'd honestly like to get to the place. I'm making positive changes. I'm doing new things in my life. I would like to get to the place where there is where I make a large change in my diet and I actually try to, I'm not sure that it will work. I've had type 1 diabetes since I was 3 years old. I got a vaccination when I was about to turn 3. And, my parents wouldn't necessarily say I'm vaccine injured, but no one in my family ever had type 1 insulin dependent juvenile diabetes until me. And people that were overweight and unhealthy did develop type 2 diabetes later in life, and I say this with all the love in the world, and I'm not trying to criticize or be rude to anyone, but type 2 diabetes comes from being fat and lazy and a genetic predisposition to your body having issues with processing the amount of glucose you're putting into it. Type 2 diabetes is not the same thing as type 1 juvenile diabetes. And so I've tried to cure my diabetes before, but I didn't try that hard. And I'm really, I'm hoping that I get to a point and a place in my life where I just honestly do feel comfortable trying harder and putting my time, effort, and energy forth to do that, because I know that it's at least possible I could take a shred of the insulin that I currently do if I just went to an absolutely no carb diet. I've just had this trouble doing that and sticking to the diet, whatnot. I had a lot of other bad habits that I was shaving off, and I've shaved off damn near all of them. I'm down to cigarettes, weed, and an occasional drink. And I know that's like not as huge. That's most people are like, yeah, well, weed just, that's 3 horrible habits and you still got those. But to me, when I used to have like 7 more, I'm feeling okay about it. Oh. Let's see what this is about.
Can I say to the Australian community that you should have faith in the vaccines, that you should remember that the consequences of the vaccines are worse than any of the potential side effects, and if you are eligible to make a booking, please do make a booking.
What? Freudian slip a bit, eh? Chuck, please contact me at russellbabbittmusic@gmail.com if you know how to reverse or cure type 1 juvenile diabetes. I have had type 1 juvenile diabetes since I was 3 years old, as I just said. I've had a lot of people tell me, if you eat these twigs and berries, you will no longer have to eat insulin. And then after eating the recommended twigs and berries and behaving in the recommended fashion in which they recommended and adhering to it, I saw that I was able to reduce the amount of insulin that I needed to take. However, I was not capable of stopping taking it. I would be absolutely willing to give it another shot. I just don't know who to trust regarding this, because the truth is I have never met a type 1 juvenile diabetic who has been able to stop taking insulin entirely without really extreme diet and exercise regimen that I'm not, I just wasn't in a place to do. Now I'm more willing to take a look at that. But yeah, Chuck, please do contact me and let me know that, because I see you said here insulin is a psyop, and I wouldn't doubt it. I just know that I've had diabetes since I was 3 years old, and if I didn't take insulin up until this point, with the food that I have eaten, even when I ate well, and very low carb diet, that I would just go into diabetic ketoacidosis and get very ill. Okay, so let's take a look at this one, guys.
Can I say to the Australian community that you should have faith in the vaccines, that you should remember that the consequences of the vaccines are worse than any of the potential side effects, and if you are eligible to make a booking, please do in the vaccines, that you should remember that the consequences of the vaccines are worse than any of the potential side effects. And if you are eligible to make a booking, please do make a booking for your first dose and then continue with your second dose.
On top of Old Horror Hill, in a secret laboratory, Professor Weirdo and Count Kook were in their monstrous glory. 6 drops of the essence of terror, 5 drops of sinister sauce. When the stirring's done, may I lick the spoon? Of course, of course. Now for the tincture of tenderness, but I must use only a touch. For without a touch of tenderness, it might destroy me. Oops, too much. Better hold your breath, it's starting to tick. Better hold my hand, I'm feeling sick. Hello, Dad. What have I done? I'm Milton, your brand new son.
Can I say to the Australian community that
Hill, in a secret laboratory, Professor Weirdo and Count Kook were in their...
Oh, shit. Yeah, sorry. This has just been full of freaking ridiculous bugs. I'm sorry about this. Quality is usually better, guys, you know this, but I'm a fucking slacker. My ability to utilize technology is really not very good. I look at other people's podcasts and I'm like, damn, you guys got it on the money. I just don't do the preparation. I don't do it. So you get what you get. But I do have the guitar and I do play. So you wish you knew how to cure it. And this is the first time you've heard of someone suspecting vaccine injury as the cause of type 1 juvenile diabetes. However, you're comfortable saying insulin is a psyop. I'm just wondering, like, why that is. Because after what I just told you, Chuck, I pretty clearly told you. Hold on.
The spoon? Of course.
Oh, well, I guess that didn't clip too bad. It looked like it was. But I pretty clearly told you that I have, tried to not use insulin and using discernment and really, actually sticking to it, and it didn't work. And then when you tell me you wish you knew how to cure it, but you're confident saying it's a psyop, I'm not quite sure how you're going to prove that insulin's a psyop if you don't have a viable alternative for type 1 juvenile diabetic children who would die without it. I'm not trying to get defensive or anything. I'm just telling you, if it's a psyop, oh, it's a fucking good one, dude, because they have literally physically implemented it into my life. If it is a psyop, it has affected me to the point where I have had more than 60 grand mal seizures from hypoglycemia, from mismanaging my insulin because I had to take it. And I have had my blood sugar be above, 700 before having diabetic ketoacidosis with my liver failing because I did not take enough insulin, or I ran out of my insulin, or lost it, someone stole it, whatever, you name it. So if it's a psyop, dude, they fucking got my balls in a vice on this one, homie. I'll tell you what, son. Welcome to Michigan, baby. So I'm sorry that there's been so many technical difficulties today. I don't know how to share the audio with you guys without, like, I'm having a issue with its routing or something where it's making it clip. Anyhow, this has all been just shooting from the hip. I'm glad that anyone even joined me. What's up, Doc Michael? I pretty clearly told you that. Okay. Bing, bang, boom. Could you guys hear that Freudian slip thing right here? Like,
of the vaccines are worse than any of the potential side effects. And if you are eligible to make...
Okay, now I got it going on. I was just blasting it from the back of the microphone. Welcome to the 31st century, people. Now I can actually share YouTube videos with you and it won't clip. I won't wonder if it blew your eardrums. Oh, Jenny. I'm so sorry to hear that, my dear. I have type 1 diabetes and I struggled with drugs and alcohol, and yeah, the Matrix will fucking eat you alive, and then it will make you feel as if you are helpless and meaningless, and that any kind of like pursuit of, alternative holistic therapies is very much frowned on by all of the doctors that I've spoken to, every endocrinologist I've ever had, which is why I don't go to them now. I just get my diabetes meds from my my primary care physician, and that works well. Oh, you're okay, Chuck. That's all right. A little bit of trolling is healthy, homeboy. I still love you. Speak of the angel, the pharmaceutical pharmakeia. Speak of the fallen angel that taught Enoch about pharmakeia. I have to give myself a little bit of fast-acting insulin. My blood sugar has been very good recently, you guys, but right now it's like 189, and it's supposed to be really between like 80 and 130. And so while it's not like causing a bunch of kidney damage or anything, it doesn't feel good. Your like blood glucose affects you a great deal. I have done some crazy shit when my blood sugar was low. Some crazy shit. I'm trying to yeah, there's a lot of like if I ever do like a teaser episode for it, maybe I'll do a Russell Blackmail episode where I just offer up some stories from my life, because I've got some really embarrassing stories of things I've done as a human being, and I'm not that proud. I can kind of, and I like people to look at me and point anyways and go, what the fuck did that guy just say? So I'm comfortable saying it, but some of this stuff is totally lewd enough that it's worth money. Like, you should have to fucking pay for it. Somebody should fork over at least, like, yeah, I want to say a minimum $10 to hear about my first kiss, because it involved into like a love affair of sorts later in my young adult life, and yeah, it's embarrassing. Yeah, as I was saying to anyone who wasn't here earlier when I said it, type 2 diabetes, and I do not mean this in any offensive, mean fashion, comes from being fat and lazy. It comes from living a sedentary lifestyle and not getting enough physical exercise and not keeping your body temple in a good enough condition as to where your pancreas can keep up producing enough insulin for the gobs of soda and the gallons and gallons of Dr. Pepper that you're boofing every day as a citizen of Babylon. Well, guys, I think a good idea for the next episode is going to be a Ask Me Anything. And I will be putting it up on Facebook. If you're not Facebook friends with me, then go ahead and become my Facebook friend. This is my name. Well, here, I'll just place a link. But yeah, if you are not Facebook friends with me, friend with me, and I will be posting something, taking questions for the Ask Me Anything tomorrow, which I'm not sure when I'm going to do it, but it's probably either in the morning or the evening. I know, this is like fucking stoner scheduling here, but you get my best, and that's all I can do. Yes, it can totally make you rage. Yep, it can totally make you rage. To have your blood sugar be high is no joke. High or low. I get a little bit combative when it gets low. But oh, nice, Doc. Yeah, you got to have people that look out for you like that. Sue, thank you so much. What a dear you are. Because if I didn't have people who looked out for me and saved my life, Liz just herself has probably saved my life like 5-10 times at least, from me having low blood sugar and being confused as shit, and half the time sometimes even high on a bunch of crazy drugs and acting all fucking weird. And then Shannon Wirtz has saved my life like fucking, I don't know, 20 times at least. But Shannon would never hear this podcast because she wears a muzzle, a chin diaper, and she has been vaccinated. God bless you, Shannon. I love you. You are my very closest friend, but you are also completely brainwashed. And I say that with no judgment. It's just the facts, ma'am. Okay, guys. I think we're going to do one tune, and then we'll turn it in. I'm just trying to think of what kind of song we want to do. Okay. Okay, we'll do one I wrote recently. And I've played it on the show several times, but that's a good one. I like it. Oh, I got some really dirty poems that I've written for you guys sometime if you ever wanted to hear them. Da 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 da. Oh, fuck it. Let's just do She Was. I'm not sure. Seriously, hide the children, guys. This is not for kids at all. Keep them away from the speakers. Okay. We'll see what happens. I've only played this song all the way through. Like, I wrote it and then recorded it and put it up on YouTube, and then have hardly played it since then because it's just a dirty joke, but whatever. It's a good one. Okay. Sing along if you want. Play along if you have a guitar. This is She Was by We Are Us. That's me, Russell Babbitt, and Philip Tracker. Phil is up in Alaska, so fucking catch those northern lights, Phil, and then get your ass to Michigan. We got music to make. I met a girl in Medellin. Her legs were long, her buns were lean. She was provoking for a choking. She was accounting for a mounting. She was insisting on a fisting. She was protesting my molesting. She had some whiskey for getting frisky. She had tobacco so she could whack me. She was lusting for a thrusting. She was praying for a spraying. She was screaming for a reaming. She was bowing to get a plowing. She was begging for a pegging. She was pining for a grinding. She was battling for a straddling. She was eager to show her beaver. She was lusting for a thrusting. She was calling for a bawling. She was dreaming of drinking semen. She was not bashful to get an ass full. She was moaning for a groaning. She was hurting to begin squirting. She was angling for a strangling. She was bargaining for a hardening. She was clucking and got to sucking. She was oinking for a boinking. She was mooing for some screwing. She was bleeding for an excreting. She was stressing for an undressing. She was cruising for an oozing. She was trolling for a holing. She was boating for a throating. She was gleesome for a threesome. She started rubbing and got to tugging. She was pledging for some edging. She orchestrated, I masturbated. She was asking for a smashing. She was petitioning for a stiffening. We wiped ourselves off and drank some beers. Now we've been married